My ex-fiancé wants to catch up after he left me at the altar. My ex-fiancé, Derek, disappeared the morning of our wedding 2 years ago, evading all attempts to reach him from myself and his family. It was devastating, absolutely soul-crushing, and the event was turned into a party to distract from the pain of the unknown. Afterwards I returned to our apartment husbandless and slept on the bathroom floor in my wedding dress. His mother ended up coming to the apartment when she informed me tearfully that Derek had run off with an ex of his and that they had apparently reconnected a week prior to the wedding. He just couldn't go through with it, opting instead to rekindle his relationship with his ex. His family was horrified. I didn't hear from him until 3 months after he left. He called me, apologized, and then went on to reveal that his ex had been hiding his child from him that he just found out about and that he wanted to be with them. The whole situation left me numb. I didn't care about anything anymore after that for a long time. Thankfully my friends were and continue to be there for me. Throughout this entire mess, they've encouraged me to seek therapy and work on healing. I'll be honest, it was terribly difficult at first, but after a few years I finally felt like myself again. I've since moved to the United Kingdom for a change in scenery. Last night I got a message request on Instagram and it was Derek. The message stated that he had heard about my move to Wales and that he'd be traveling to Cardiff towards the end of July. He told me that he was deeply sorry about everything and wanted to discuss what really happened leading up to the wedding. He ended the message hoping that he wasn't overwhelming me and told me to message back, letting him know if I'd like to talk about things over lunch. I have no idea who told him about my move and I don't know if I crave closure from him, but I also don't want to immediately decline only to regret my decision. Should I think about it before coming to a decision? Would it be wiser to decline flat out, or should I humor him and listen to what he has to say? Update: my ex-fiancé wants to catch up after he left me at the altar. I decided not to respond to his message. A day after, however, I received another message from him. To sum it up, he apologized for how deceitful his initial message was and explained why he had reached out to me. Essentially he wanted to discuss that final week before our wedding and the events that led up to him running away from our wedding. My ex-fiancé was diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder with avoidant attributions from past experiences. His diagnosis did provide quite a bit of clarity looking back at our relationship and his past behavior, so I truly feel for him in his journey of self-healing. However, despite his struggles, I still told him that I couldn't forgive him for his selfish act of leaving me in a constant state of what felt like hell for 3 months, unsure of why he had abandoned me in the first place. He told me he understood and I ultimately agreed to meet him for lunch, and I don't regret it. He's not with the ex he originally left me to be with. She ended up passing away 6 months after he left me at the altar, which is part of the reason why she reached out to him in the first place. Since then he's been working on himself through therapy and navigating what it's like to be a single father, considering that the child turned out to be his. Our lunch wasn't too long, but it was all around eye-opening on both sides. At the end of the lunch he handed over an envelope which contained all the money we spent preparing for the wedding. I was honestly dumbfounded. It wasn't a gesture I was expecting on his behalf, and I think he was taken aback when I returned the ring he gave me. It's funny, I held onto the ring just in case I needed to sell it if my finances continued to be unstable, but I never had to. It's also ironic that in the end I received money while seemingly trading that ring. He looks better, and not to sound cocky, but I feel like I do as well. Now that this chapter has concluded, I no longer feel rage or remorse, I just feel free. I feared that I might have still harbored feelings for him, but I have since found that I loved him for the man he was in that moment when we were together, and though we're now apart I'm okay with looking back and acknowledging the love I had for him back then. I've closed that chapter now, with him, with the woman I used to be when I was with him, and that's really all there is to it.